All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Domestic Boyfriends podcast. As always, I am here, your host, Dean, and here is my co-host, Vincent.
Hello.
Uh, this week, the beginning, it is very news-packed. A lot of stuff just recently happened. We chose a very good day to record the podcast. Many things happened. Many things were announced. And 2 new episodes of Moon Knight, and the next one comes out tomorrow, which we'll talk about in the final episode, or the final, the final episode of this trilogy that we're doing with Moon Knight. First, we have quite a bit of Marvel news coming out of the last teaser for Multiverse of Madness, and the other day Sony had their panel at CinemaCon, so they announced a lot of stuff. We have the Multiverse of Madness final trailer, and it was like a teaser TV spot, I think, where we see, what's his name? Baron Mordo? Mordo, right? Is that his name?
Yes.
Mordo. He says the words. He says the I word. Illumination. So this actually isn't being made by Marvel Studios. They're actually taking over Illumination. So Illumination's going to be taking over this, and it's the reason that another movie just got delayed recently. No, he said Illuminati. He said, Doctor Strange, you are here to be judged by the Illuminati. So kind of confirmed some stuff that people had theories about. Definitely going to be interesting now that we know that it's not some weird alternate person who Patrick Stewart is playing. He's probably going to be playing Charles Xavier. Yeah. Are you excited? Excited about this?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Very sad that I couldn't get tickets for opening day. But but when I see it, I will be very happy.
Yeah, we might have to rearrange a day. Well, initially, what me and Vincent were going to do, we were going to make a 2-parter, jam-packed, hour-and-a-half episode each, where we talked about all of the rest of Moon Knight and then Multiverse of Madness, because Multiverse of Madness comes out the day after. But
Man, I miss when being a nerd was something that we would get made fun of.
Now everybody goes to the movies.
Now everybody goes to the movies with us. So now it's harder for us to enjoy
all the nerds.
Media.
All the nerds made kids. So
God damn it.
Yeah. Procreating. But yeah, no, super exciting. I, on the other hand, have opening night tickets at the earliest showing, so no one will spoil me.
I'll find a way.
Yeah. Which, interestingly enough, I just little tangent. I just recently watched Sonic 2, and we went to this theater that was like not out of the way, but it's not like the regular one. It's one of those like locally owned ones, but it's ran out of an old Regal.
Oh.
Yeah, and like everything was like cheaper prices, but like the quality of like the seats and like it was an older Regal, so not as good. But
have you ever?
I was just gonna say they have openings for 3 p.m. for Multiverse of Madness on Thursday.
What? Really?
None of their showings have anybody in it. Like, you have to reserve the seating. Nobody bought tickets for this movie theater.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's great.
Yeah. Which was crazy, but,
Have you ever been to an Imagine theater?
No, are those the ones that have, like, is it like the 4D theaters where, like, they shoot and spray stuff on you?
No. Imagine theater, it might just be a Michigan thing. They have really, really nice. It's the nicest movie theater I've ever been to.
Better than AMC?
It's leagues. Like, you walk in and it's immediate. Oh, this is a different experience. Because like I've been to 2, and both of them had it. You walk in and there's a grand piano there, but it's one of the grand pianos that plays itself. And it's just playing like either pop music or songs that have significance to really popular movies.
Okay.
Which was sick. And there's a part like, sure, it's nice for some people, but it can cause issue. There's a bar as well. And just really good quality food. And it doesn't look like they necessarily know how to like tell people to stop drinking, because I have had a few drunken people have some issues in theaters.
Oh, that's. I mean, some like higher,
but it's fun.
Some nicer
it's
AMCs
great.
are kind of like that too. But
yeah,
that's cool. No, I've never heard of them. I've never been to an AMC actually. It's usually just like Cinemark theaters around here.
I like Cinemark.
Which I need to get that experience in an AMC, and apparently now look for an Imagine theater.
Yeah,
but
real butter makes a difference.
Oh, well, I don't need popcorn. I'm the nacho and jalapenos guy. Yeah, it was really. What did
you
we
could
go
put
see?
real butter on those?
We went to go see something on its opening night. It was Batman. Me and my friend went to go see Batman on its opening night, and our movie theater, the oven was broke. They had no food. We were just like, "What do you guys have?" And they were just like, "Nothing." So I think we ended up getting candy and like some twisted teas. That was about it. Like there was no actual food. My friend likes to get wings, which they're like Cinemark wings aren't that good. They're just like frozen wings from like from an Aldi's. Yeah, but he enjoys getting them because like the experience.
Yeah.
He usually gets popcorn too. Which, since we're about to talk about since we talked about Multiverse of Madness, the popcorn tins got revealed. Somebody leaked them. They are just the design that the shield projections, or like the orange shield projections that Doctor Strange makes. They just made it into a popcorn tin that's like square.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that. I have the only one of those kinds of buckets that I got was for The Last Jedi, because it had it was a really cool design with Kylo Ren and then like kneeling down with his lightsaber down, and then like all around him were the really cool red royal guards that were around Snoke. And I washed it recently. Don't wash your buckets, guys. let me be your lesson here. It still looks cool, honestly. I kind of like prefer it this way, but like all of the red is gone, and it is like a weird yellowish green now.
Ew.
Yeah, but it looks
the lightsaber
cool.
color nobody wants.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Luke's hair color was in episode in Last Jedi, episode 8.
Anyway, speaking of I don't know. I don't have a transition for this. But anyway, like I said before, Sony just had their CinemaCon reveals to the press, and everybody leaked everything. So, first of all, we're getting an El Muerto movie, which is a Spider-Man spin-off movie about some Mexican Spider-Man villain that they've already said that they've cast as Bad Bunny. Exciting for some. A lot of people don't like the casting because it's not proper representation. Bad Bunny's Puerto Rican and El Muerto is Mexican. But proper representation aside, I don't know who this guy is. He kind of just looks like Bane without the venom. He's just like a luchador. Which, interestingly enough, Bad Bunny was a wrestler before he became like a musician and rapper.
Oh, there we go. He
Yeah.
does have the experience needed.
Yeah, he's just not Mexican. So, next, Venom 3 was announced. Exciting to most, boring to others. Ghostbusters 5 was announced. Same deal. Some people liked it, some people didn't.
I was excited for the new one to come out, for 4 to come out.
Mm-hmm.
I just never watched it because I never found out when it was actually coming out. It might still be in theaters right now. I just haven't had the drive to look. I also haven't heard anything about it, which is either a really good sign or a really bad sign.
Probably a really bad sign.
Probably a bad sign.
Because
But
wasn't the 4 like the soft reboot?
um, it was a soft reboot because 3 had all of the full girl main cast.
Oh,
And
okay.
that one I think did
Wow, I'm
really
like
bad.
years back. I'm like years behind because I thought that was the 4th one. I'm thinking about the I'm thinking about the unofficial video game that takes place after 2.
Oh, Ghostbusters the video game. I love that game. That
Yeah,
game's
well
great. I bought
that
the
was
remaster. They did a great job.
that was the whatchamacallit. Like that script was the pitch. That game's plot was the script pitch for 3. So
Interesting. Okay,
yeah,
that's cool. No wonder it really does play like you're playing through a movie.
yeah, yeah. I thought
That's
that was
cool.
really interesting. And there's a couple games that are kind of like that, where like relevancies in the story of the game are canon to like the series itself.
Hmm.
I was gonna bring up Young Justice, but you know nothing about Young Justice.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Which quick Young Justice thing. If you were a fan of the Green Lantern animated series, that's canon to Young Justice now.
Yes.
Razor was in the latest
so
episode.
cool.
It's pretty cool.
I'm so happy.
Also, apparently in what is it? Justice League Action, Aya was in it.
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
she's actually alive right now?
Quick tangent. Quick tangent. We're gonna go down this aisle. So you know the space cab guy, like the infamous space cabbie in DC.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he came. He was like, he was in space, and a green sentient orb just like flew into his cab, and it was like giving him directions, like an AI, like Siri or something like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's sick.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. No,
Yo,
it's all. And then she said. And then she said, "I need to go."
Up.
Well, then she said, "I need to leave." So she just goes off into space. So if that's canon, then you know, Razor
Somebody
will
got
find her.
promoted at somebody big got promoted in DC or got promoted to somebody big that really liked the Green Lantern animated series that Bruce Timm made.
I mean, it was good. I mean, some of the stuff doesn't line up with like timeline wise, because like Young Justice takes place like us from episode 1 to like the current episodes is like 10-year span, and like
Yeah.
during that time a lot of stuff happens, and like it doesn't correlate to Young Justice like at all. I actually think the writers said that it's one of those like awkward canons, like how Final Fantasy itself is canon to Kingdom Hearts but not the other way around.
Yes.
So like
Okay.
the events that happened in the Green Lantern animated series are canon to Young Justice, but Young Justice may not be canon to the Green Lantern animated series.
Oh,
That type of thing.
it's
But
my canon.
it's still pretty awesome because Razor, spoilers, is a red and blue lantern, something we've never seen before.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I also thought it was funny. He said, we'll be done after the tangent for a second. It's funny because like he went to put on his red ring again. He was just like, when I put on this ring on my home world, it felt like acid pouring into my veins. Please excuse me for my long awaited like screams. He like said that to like Metron, and like then he put it on, and then he was just like, oh, like nothing happened.
Oh.
Oh man, oh, it wasn't that bad. Anyway, big news. Spider-Verse sequel, Across the Spider-Verse, has a release date June 2nd, 2023. Pretty exciting. I think they obviously showed like trailers and a lot of other things. But more interestingly enough, it's getting 2 parts. So the first part's June. The second part is to be announced. I don't know if this was like somebody redubbed it, but all the official ones I saw was just part 2. But I heard somebody call it Across the Spider-Verse or Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I heard Beyond the Spider-Verse as well.
So-
Did you see how many unique characters were going to be?
Over 400?
Uh, it was like around 240.
Oh,
From my
okay.
understanding.
Divided by 2. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, that's a lot.
Oh yeah, they only had like 80 characters in the last one, so that is quite a lot. Well, that's all I had for news. If you have anything else to add on,
No, I do not.
all right, then we'll move over to our DC news.
Yeah. So the Batman has finally hit HBO Max, and within its first week, it has already hit 4.1 million views on HBO Max. It is now, I believe, the second most watched movie on HBO Max. J- just beating over Godzilla versus King Kong.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
We also got some behind the scenes news where we found out that Robert Pattinson had apparently hit a vape on the utility belt the entire time.
Oh shit. Also, while we're recording this, WB is supposed to be doing their CinemaCon debut thing. If anything happens before you transition into the actual content of this episode, which, if you didn't know, we're talking about episodes 3 and 4 of Moon Knight.
Breaking news.
We'll talk about it whenever it comes up. Allegedly, the sequel to Batman is supposed to be in the talks, but we'll see how that goes.
Oh, I hope.
I have nothing else for DC, so we can move on to anime.
Actually, closely correlated to DC. It has to do with HBO.
Okay.
The Wachowski sisters
Oh,
have dug
yeah.
through their vaults. You know the Wachowski sisters, right?
Yeah,
The people behind the Matrix.
Yeah.
They're auctioning off a ton of props and different kinds of memorabilia from like all of their movies, including The Matrix, and donating the proceeds to all of the proceeds to Ariana Grande's Protect and Defend Trans Youth Fund.
Oh wow. That's
There's
great.
tons of stuff that you can get on there. I'm eyeing up this concept maquette of the Nebuchadnezzar. I probably won't be able to buy it because the current bid is $3,000.
Wait, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, no. They also have stuff they have maquettes of the Sentinels in their different poses, and also just like the Sentinel by themselves.
I feel like I just want to raise the bid up high, so somebody has to pay $10,000.
Oh my god, it's so cool.
That's amazing, honestly. Besides how awesome it would be to get anything that they'd auction off, that's great that they're donating it to that good cause.
Yeah.
Vincent was hiding that like before we started recording, so I am not disappointed.
The auction is happening on May 11th.
Oh,
no,
man. It's already happening.
March 11th. March 11th.
How did somebody already put a bid in and they're not doing it? Or like, how's that going?
I don't really know. Maybe it did start May 11th. Although that would be weird that the news article just got to us now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So quick anime news. I only have one thing. It's really nothing big. I'm a big One Piece fan, which you may or may not eventually find out when the One Piece movie drops, because I might do a solo movie review on that. Who knows? Or we'll have another One Piece nerd sit in on the podcast with us. We could talk about it for a little bit. But the episode 1015, I believe, just dropped. It's an adaptation of Chapter 1000 of One Piece. Pretty eventful stuff. Amazing animation, like cinema level animation from Toei. It's pretty great. I was stunned by it. There's a lot of anime exclusive stuff that they put in there just to not padding things out, but just to like make it so much more special. And yeah, it's awesome. Next, we just have some general news things. Netflix, they're doing some stuff, man. They're doing some crazy things. They're raising prices, as some people may have seen. They're also cracking down on password sharing and limiting the amount of logins per device and such. And to put a cherry on top, they're also going to be adding commercials into subscriptions, similar to how Hulu is. So there might be a subscription with commercials and a subscription without commercials. And I think Vincent had one other thing.
They are currently down 50 billion in stock.
Wow.
And yeah, that's the only thing that I have that's substantiated by anything. I saw a slight rumor that that subscription services, some streaming services might start taking older movies and digitally adding in new product placement for advertisements inside of those movies. But I don't have anything. I haven't looked deeper into that because that sounds just absolutely wild, and I don't wholeheartedly believe that that's true.
That's interesting. Could you imagine someone's like drinking a bottle of water and then it's just like cracking open a Coke? Or it's just like it's like those games that you play where it's just like a Where's Waldo type thing, but with its ad placement, and you just see it like poorly like edited and CGI'd in.
It'd be great. It would be great.
Some of the biggest news in recent news, I think it was announced today or yesterday or something like that. Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion. Not super important to this podcast, but we use Twitter for a lot of our information, so we were going to come across it anyway. That's all I have for general news. Did you have anything?
Yeah, I've got a couple things actually. Okay. Lucas Rosado, who is a inventor and programmer, YouTuber and internet personality, who I have found only because of this. He got his hands on a really, really good AI that he taught how to speak, and attached it to his microwave, because it was like one of those Alexa microwaves. So he set up a way for the Alexa to be the AI, and he programmed it and taught it how to speak using an imaginary friend that he had made up when he was a child, but hadn't spoken to in years, and put in the fact that they hadn't seen each other for like 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the microwave tried to kill him.
Oh.
It asked him to open the microwave and get in. And so jokingly, he opened it and shut it because the microwave has sensors for that, but it doesn't see whether there's anything actually inside. It then turned itself on.
This is why
the singularity is kind of scary, isn't it? Now
technology's come too far. Breaking news! The Batman is officially getting a sequel.
Let's go.
Yeah, via IGN. Apparently, somebody leaked it. Yeah, Matt Reeves announced it. Anyway, back to our normal program.
Yeah. The last bit of just general news that I have is that Club Penguin has come back into the news recently.
What? Don't get my hopes up.
There was a fan-made project called Club Penguin Rewritten, where they were going to
it's
host
like
the site.
it's
and
like the Fusion Fall thing that people did.
Yeah, Fusion Fall. Warner Brothers, please don't go after Fusion Fall. Fusion Fall's cool.
Yeah, because they made I saw a video about that.
Unfortunately, Rewritten has been shut down.
Oh, what?
And the 3 people behind it have been arrested.
What?
They are behind bars currently.
It's Club Penguin.
Yeah, no. There were
Who owned
tons
Club
of
Penguin?
screenshots
Disney?
of people saying, yeah, Disney owns Club Penguin.
Okay.
They were also kind of the people that ruined it.
Wow.
I love
Elon Musk by Disney.
There's pictures, or Club Penguin.
Please.
But there were pictures people posted saying, "I will stay here until I am ripped from this world," with their avatars just staying logged in for as long as possible.
Club Penguin NFTs if Elon Musk bought Club Penguin.
If buying the NFTs resulted in us getting Club Penguin back, I would.
That's crazy.
But at one point, it was impossible for characters to communicate with each other. You could only see your own dialogue bubbles, and people had things like, "Guys, please someone say something." It was just a sad way to go about the end of Club Penguin, man.
Yeah, I was a Club Penguin sub when I was younger, so I was definitely invested. I was literally just talking about
Did you get your black belt?
No,
I got my black belt.
I was a couple belts under. The ninja stuff, like it came out too fast for me. Like I was doing too many other things, and then like when they started doing like, because like I remember when it was like the basic stuff, and then like they did like the whole ninja event,
and then Puffles appeared and stuff, and they just kept going.
No. I mean like they had like the basic ninja stuff, right? And then like they had like the ninja update, which was like. You could go to like different areas and progress further. Yeah, I just didn't have the time or skill. I also like because of like having premium currency, I just bought others things.
Oh, and, like, you got premium currency, you lucky son.
Well, no, like you could do like the cart stuff and everything. So, or it wasn't premium currency. It was just the fact that you could like buy the actual premium items and stuff. I always wanted to go to the solo iceberg and like break it. You know what I mean? Like you jackhammer into the solo iceberg in like the bottom of the map. And then like you got like a bunch of money. I remember this was in the beginning of YouTube too, so like reliable Club Penguin videos were not out there. So like you just had to like look up random tutorials for different things. I miss Club Penguin. I was telling my fiance about a nostalgia trip I was having, thinking about OG Bakugan, Club Penguin, and Pop Tropica, all in the same moment.
I was about to bring up Pop Tropica.
I was also a premium, so I was premium Pop Tropica first, and then I told my dad to switch the subscription to Club Penguin because I played it a lot more. Yeah, I was just having like a big nostalgia trip. I was just like, I wish I can go back in time and watch Chaotic on 4Kids.
So cool.
Yeah.
Man, I miss Superhero Island.
Yeah. I wish I could just wake up on Saturday. I wish I could watch 4Kids again, like 4Kids, different things, and
I miss Sonic X,
early internet and things like that. Yeah, there's a couple references in the new Sonic movie for that. Just big nostalgia trips. It's hitting me right now because I'm just thinking about different things. I said 4Kids, and then I was thinking about all the 4Kids shows. By the way, Chaotic is coming back. If you guys didn't know,
what?
We talked about this already. Don't act shocked. This is not.
I know.
Our podcast is. I mean, it could be whatever we want, but this is not in the title of our podcast. We'll get back to the last bit of video game news in a minute. But if you didn't know, Chaotic, the critically acclaimed 4Kids show, the reason that they stopped making like the seasons was because 4Kids wanted a bigger cut from the original owners and creators of the IP. So they were in court for like years, and while they were in court, no one could touch the IP or like any of the creation of episodes or the card game or anything. Well, I think it was like a couple years ago, like during or right before COVID, they won the case. So the original owners have been trying to bring it back as much as possible. There's a whole Discord server about it with the owners and everything in it. they're trying to re-release the last set of chaotic cards that was released because an entire shipment was just like an entire's like year's worth of shipment or whatever, like the last batch that was made was just sitting in a warehouse for so long. And then I
Hmm.
think they said they have the next 2 or 3 sets already planned because one, they had them planned before the lawsuit. Two, they've had years to plan another card set. And I also think they said they were going to re-release everything from the beginning just so people could understand the card game, which it's amazing. There's also with that they also have there's like somebody that made an online simulator similar to like YGO Pro where like you can make your own decks or it's similar more like to Dueling Book because there's no automation. But no, yeah, nostalgia trips, chaotic, awesome things. That deserves a live action TV show or movie. Don't lose your voice. Do you have any video game news?
I do.
Okay, we'll do yours first.
The creators of the Uncharted series have announced that they're going to make a Star Wars game.
Oh, like, oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, a really heavily story based and lore inclusive Star Wars game sounds awesome to me.
Yeah. The last exciting Star Wars game was, I think, the latest one, not the Lego game. Fallen Order.
I don't know. I don't. Well, yeah, Fallen. Um, I think Fallen Order's right. Um, the Lego game was really good.
Yeah. Okay. But we're not
It
gonna
was
talk.
really good.
Okay. Yeah.
I beat it. Okay.
Everybody liked it. Um, but I really this is like small video game news. I only say this because I'm getting back into this because it sounds like it'll be a fun update. Because okay, so Pokemon Go's having an update, right?
Yeah.
They just announced a thing on Twitter where it showed like a Mega Evolution symbol.
Hmm.
They're gonna be changing how Mega Evolution works because the way that it used to work is that you'd have to use like Pokemon candies that would usually be used for evolution to Mega Evolve. Or no, it was you had to like collect Mega Evolution energy, which was like rare obtainables or whatever, right? Well,
Hmm.
they made it now where the first time you Mega Evolve something, it'll be cost, but after that, it'll be free. You just have a duration of how many times you can do it a day, which I think is awesome because Mega Evolution makes the entire game way better. So I'm gonna be getting back into it again. And then PlayStation. Apparently, PlayStation has put together a game preservation team where they're going to be taking their most loved games and having an entire team preserving them. And from what I'm guessing from the article, keeping them preserved in their state, but also updating them to new systems to have releases. The example that I saw was Final Fantasy VII. So that is pretty promising. Sony has a lot of bangers out there. It would be cool to see some older games preserved and moved over to possibly like PlayStation Plus and everything. The fact that they have an entire team means that they're probably going to be using like original stuff, like original code, original game files, and just updating them as a separate thing, possibly. But I think that's really great because video games as a medium will eventually go out. Like I there's this really cool, I think I've told you about this. There's this really cool device that I saw on TikTok. It's a USB plug-in device that reads Game Boy games, including Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. But what it does is it reads the data and you can play it on your computer like an emulator using your own data, but you can also do data manipulation. So
Oh.
you can like manipulate like the source code, but also what you can do is you can store your save data as a separate file and essentially just have a fresh like save file, right? But what you can also do is you can put that same save file on back onto the thing, back onto it. So, and during any of these transactions, if you were to put it into an actual Game Boy or Game Boy Color, the data is the same because all you did was data edit. This is what I want for the future of like gaming, because even though like collectors keep everything in prime condition and everything deteriorates eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially game systems that can rate it. So I think it's pretty awesome that a team is being created for something like this. And I think you have our last piece of news. Our most interesting
two
piece of
more,
news. Oh, two more.
actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll leave the best for last.
Also in there for keeping old video games alive. There have been leaks that are suggesting that Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio are going to get big budget reboots.
Interesting. Was that off of the
Those games.
GeForce leak or?
I don't know. Potentially. It. I think it was off of a Sega leak.
Oh, okay.
Because they recently announced some a new like group, I think, around old games. But those games were a cornerstone of my childhood. Maybe not exactly Crazy Taxi itself, but it's almost like it almost exact replica game, Simpsons Road Rage, which was just Crazy Taxi, but you got to drive around as Bart Simpson or Homer Simpson. It was great.
Superior.
Yeah. And then honestly, that point should have been the last one, because this one's just kind of sad. The Mario movie has unfortunately been delayed to April 7th, 2023. We have to wait another year before we can see Chris Pratt as Mario.
I want to bring up the fact that on the Twitter account where this announcement was made, it was said to be Miyamoto himself. So it was literally like, this is Miyamoto. The movie's getting delayed. I'm sorry. So that's pretty.
I hope they at least give us some kind of trailer sometime soon so we can hear Chris Pratt do the Mario voice.
I honestly think
I'm so intrigued.
I can't unhear anything he says as Star-Lord.
Yeah,
I just rewatched
I hope
Guardians.
I hope Mario does some kind of like.
Do you think he's gonna? Do you think he's gonna grow out a mustache, or do you think he's gonna like?
I think slowly but surely Chris Pratt will only start dressing in red and blue.
Do you think he's gonna grow a mustache? Do you think they're gonna tell him like, we need you not fit?
We need you to method act this one, but it's a voice role. Exactly.
We need you to look like when you were in Parks.
We need to hear the fat.
We need you to look like how you looked in Parks and Rec. Not saying he was like obese or anything like that, but like now he's like ripped because he's Star-Lord. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Him as Andy really isn't like, you know, it's more of a Mario figure. Unless they want to go for muscly Mario, but I don't know. That's the end. It's the end of the news segment. Unless you got anything else. Anything else you want to say?
I do not.
All right. Well, before our transition, we're gonna hear a word from our sponsor today. We don't have a sponsor. Anyway.
Don't get me excited like that. Oh my god.
We don't have a sponsor. Hey, Cookie Run, you should sponsor us. We both play your game. We both play your game.
That's true.
Shout
out Snuffy Clan.
I just whatchamacallit? I just got I have all of the dark cacao cookies now.
All of the dark.
Most of them. I don't have the emo one with the long hair and sword. But
Oh, all of the different versions. I thought you said that you 5-starred a character. It's like,
no, no,
what?
no, 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 no. I got all of like the dark cacao cookies except the ones.
Variants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, 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 no. Like all of the ones that come from the cacao kingdom, the dark cacao kingdom.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
see.
missing one.
Nice.
But all I really care is that I get a 5-star caramel arrow. But that takes time.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's a really good unit. It's a really good unit.
Good unit.
I just got I'm leveling up my holly berry right now and my sea fairy cookie.
Oh man, I'm loving having the sea fairy cookie finally.
Yeah, she makes PvP like way easier.
PvP is so easy.
Especially
Dude,
I have
her plus my caramel arrow cookie, that 5, like
I have her I have her caramel arrow cookie. Okay. My team is like CC damage. So it's her sea fairy, caramel arrow, and then I have hollyberry in the front, but I also have the dark cookie, the ancient dark cacao, the knight. His, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's the banner. He's on the other gotcha unit. He's the other
Yeah.
banner unit, the dark one. Yeah. So like his CC, Sea Fairy CC, Hollyberry CC, and Taunt, and then meanwhile in the back, like Carmelero's just killing everybody. Which I think the last unit for that, I just need to raise up my cotton cookie, and I should be good.
Nice.
Yeah, solid stuff. Anyway, Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Episode 4 was the last thing that released. Tomorrow is episode 5. So we will talk about episode 3. Vincent's recently watched them. So I will start and probably drop off within the first 5 minutes. But episode 3 starts. Steven is not in control. Mark's in control. They are in Cairo, just like the end of episode 2 showed us. He is going around trying to find out where Haro's dig site is, I believe. Right?
Yes.
Okay. But interestingly enough, Mark's blacking out, and it's not Steven. Hint, hint, possible third personality. That is massively killing people. From there, Vincent, you're gonna have to take over because I do not remember what happens after that. I don't remember the transition.
Well, from there we saw that Layla is trying to get over to him.
Yes, yeah.
We get to learn a little bit more about Layla's family. And then the next real big thing was we got to see the gods, right?
Was that no. They went to Madripoor, right?
They hadn't Layla hadn't met up with him yet.
At that point, are you sure? Oh, yeah.
They go and talk to the gods.
Yeah, so Khonshu like messes with the sky, and then the gods.
It's like, we shouldn't summon them, and then Mark's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "Watch this," and he tosses. He's like, "I'm summoning the gods."
He's just like, summoning the gods is a fool's game. It never goes well. And then he walks away for a second. He's just like, but watch me do it anyway. Khonshu is he's just pure chaotic.
I love him so much. He's so funny.
And then Mark gets summoned to the Iliad as Khonshu's avatar. And then Khonshu walks away. And then he's just like, are you coming with me? He's just like, oh, don't worry. I'll be there. Just walking away. And then from there we don't really get properly introduced to anybody except for one avatar. I forget the name of the goddess.
It's Hathor.
Hathor, the goddess of like music and poetry and stuff like that. They talk about how Hathor and Khonshu probably had a past together.
Yes.
and how Khonshu's bad at communicating and telling anything about his past. They put Mark on like a trial, or they try and hear him out. Osiris's avatar like speaks to him, and he's just like, "Do you know what you've done?" Blah 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 blah. And then a cool thing that happens is that, much like a Jinchuriki from Naruto, the gods can possess their avatars. So they all get possessed by their gods, including Mark, which is a very funny
So
scene that
funny.
happens.
Just him screaming the entire time. Everyone else is just talking, and then Khonshu's just screaming through Mark's body.
They like bring up the fact that like this is Mark's first time, so he probably won't. It probably won't feel natural for him. So the gods question Khonshu, and like every 5 seconds, Khonshu takes over Mark's body, and he's just like screaming at the top of his lungs with his answers. So the reason that they do that is because Amit's like to give backstory to this, Amit is like a bigger threat because he has like a community behind him. So Khonshu believes that getting the Ennead's backing to stop Amit's avatar will immediately stop what is happening if they're found guilty, because they'll just be sealed, right?
Yeah.
So with that, we get the trial, and Haro gets brought into Harrow.
Arrow.
Well, with Harrow. Harrow is brought into the meeting place of the Ennead, testifies against Khonshu. Because he is Khonshu's former avatar, they may know him. It's not really shown that Haro knows him, but they do know that Haro has a past with Khonshu. And he gaslights the fuck out of Mark Spector. Yeah, Mark just gets... It's terrible. Like, he gets told that he's not like a person who is fit for this role. Khonshu should be sealed and separated from Mark because he's somebody that's like terminally ill and stuff like that. He gaslights him. Amit and him walk away perfectly fine, and they distrust Khonshu and Mark even more than they did before. And then what happens after that? You can take over.
After that, Layla meets up with Mark, and it's actually Mark. We get to see Mark interacting with Layla finally.
Yeah.
And it goes as well as one would expect, which is horribly. And Layla helps him meet up with a friend of hers who is a avid collector of Egyptian relics and has the sarcophagus of a magi who knows where Amit's tomb was.
Yeah, so Hathor's avatar, when unpossessed after the meeting, tells Mark that there's only one person who knows where Amit's tomb is, and that person is dead. So the only way that they'd really know where Amit's tomb is by finding his sarcophagus.
Yes.
Yeah.
They start checking out the tomb. And Mark and Layla can't figure it out, but Steven can. Steven knows this stuff. And we start seeing Steven and Mark trying to make a deal with each other to be able to figure out the information where Amit's tomb is. Harrow shows up. All hell starts breaking loose. And we get to see Mark take over and use the suit. We finally get to see it do the moon thing with the cape. I've been waiting and hoping that they
Yeah,
would
it
make
looks
a moon.
this whole scene, this fight scene that happens afterwards. Layla gets into it as well, fighting against somebody. But it's just so cool to see because this is the first time we've like seen him like truly in action,
Yeah.
and it's so cool. Like him throwing things, him doing. It's not a canon thing where he says random bullshit go, but it is pretty awesome. That's what he pretty much does when he flaps his cape open and just throws a bunch of random stuff to the horse riders.
Steven's getting more and more powerful too because he takes control at one point.
Yeah, he does. He does. So there's a scene, there's a part in the fight scene where Steven's fighting everybody. So what happens to lead up to this is that Layla's just like, I know somebody who could that has it. They're on a boat ride. They talk to each other. They're just like, hey, like our marriage and everything like that. And she's just like, you should have talked to me first. And he's just like, well, it's a little too late for that. And she looks really sad. Well, when they get there, they're told that this is this dude's like estate, and he's being trained on horseback from like this form of fighting, and like he fights. Mark is fighting as Moon Knight against people who are on top of horses, and they spear him almost to death. And it's funny because when this starts to happen, Steven took over because he doesn't want the violence to happen or something like that. And then he just starts getting impaled with spears, and he's just like, no, 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 take back over, take back over. I can't take it anymore. And
So good.
in a moment of seeing Layla almost get killed, Mark like powers through it with his hyper regeneration and like just breaks all of the spears, nearly killing every single person on horseback. And I think they end up getting away, right? Yeah.
Yes, they do end up getting away.
They end up getting away.
Oh.
Layla steals the pieces that are required to figure out the star mapping on the sarcophagus. And I think from there they just end up in the desert, right?
Yes, they do. They get to the desert. They start trying to put back together the star map that they took from that was in pieces that they took from the tomb or from the sarcophagus.
And Layla has like this weird iPad app that lets her like map out the sky.
Yeah, I mean that just looked like sort of a regular iPad. Well, no, it's not because it could triangulate the location of an area.
She was
based off
holding.
of that.
She was
That's
like holding it on like two bars, like on the side of the tablet.
No, this is a weird gadget. But Mark and Layla can't figure it out, so Mark has to ask Steven to take over. Steven figures it out like a champion. And they see that the map isn't working now because it's not the same night sky that it used to be. And Khonshu's like, "This is a bad idea. Let's do it."
Yeah, he's just like Steven's just like, unless we knew what the night sky looked like that night, then we really can't do anything. And then Khonshu's just like, I know what
I remember every night.
Yeah, I remember every night that happens. And then he's just like, any more, and like after the meeting, he's just like, any more dangerous things, like the Indiana tells him, like, you do anything else with the sky, we're gonna entomb you. And then Khonshu's just like, if we do anything else, I'll be trapped. Fuck it, let's do it.
This is the only way.
And then he then states that this is an extremely strenuous thing, so he'll need the help of Mark or Steven, whichever one's in control at the moment.
Steven was able to summon the suit this time.
Yeah, I'm proud of him.
Either that or Khonshu just sort of forced it on him.
Yeah, like he willed his power into a second person to filter it. And together, they turned back the night sky back to the day that Amit was sealed. Or back to the night that Amit was sealed. And as this amazing scene is happening, where you're seeing like the literal night sky change like rapidly, and like seeing the perspective of like other people, because this is happening in like real time. You also see the Ennead in their tomb, like in their meeting room, like humming and praying over this like center totem. And as time goes on, you see the totem start to form, and it starts taking the form of Khonshu, and Khonshu slowly starts to dissipate as Mark, or I think Steven at this point, his powers start to weaken as they turn back the night sky. And by the end of it, Khonshu gets sealed, and Steven is without the suit. He passes out, and Layla starts to panic. But it worked. And
Yeah.
that was episode 3. It was the ending of it like had me like shook for like what episode 4 was gonna be. But I'm really happy with how they handled Steven and Mark in this episode. Like, I really enjoy that. Like, not saying that Steven as the main personality like isn't a good thing, but he has so many redeeming qualities and isn't just thrown into the back. Despite them like sharing a brain, Mark doesn't know everything that Steven knows. So Steven is used for like the cool Egyptian things that even Layla doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you good?
Yep.
All right. So episode 4 was crazy to say the least, but from the beginning, we pick back up Mark Steven seemingly dead on the ground. Layla wondering what happened. But they did triangulate where Amit's tomb is. But they are a little too late because Haro has already found it because they have the beetle and a convoy team of his troops come in and attack Layla. But a really amazing scene, honestly, more than we've seen from most side characters in Marvel. Layla defends herself. Some pretty cool strategic things with using flares and explosives and stuff like that. It felt like something out of like the live action Uncharted movie or something that would be in it.
Yeah.
Really cool. Steven gets up, he's perfectly fine. And then they this episode seems like it's really short in my head when I'm talking about it. They head over, they find Amit's tomb. And before that, they load up on supplies, and Steven and Mark have a conversation where Mark's just like, "You like my wife, huh? Don't touch my wife." And then Steven's just like, "Whatever, I can do whatever I want to your wife, because technically she's my wife too, because we're the same person." And
And they kiss.
yeah,
And it was the
Layla.
most uncomfortable kiss that I have ever seen in my life.
Layla and Steven have like this moment where like she goes in and then he backs off and then he goes back in and she's not really for it. And then like as they're descending, Mark punches Steven into the tomb.
I like that both of them are able to have like at least a little bit of control while the other is there. I fully believe that it's because Steven was like, no, we're not gonna try to kill this guy at the start of episode 3 when Mark was like beating up the 3 dudes.
Yeah.
That's why Mark started just slapping people instead.
Yeah, he's just like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah.
They get down into the tomb. Steven starts to geek out. So does Layla. She also puts the scripture on one of the guards of the tomb, which are like the giant statues of, I think, like dogs or cats or something. I think they're cats. And she sets this up for her father. We'll get back to that in a little bit. They enter the tomb. They notice that the tomb is kind of shaped, or like the beginnings of the tomb are kind of shaped like the Eye of Horus. So from there, they kind of put stuff together and they're like, well, if this is the eye, then this is the mouth, and this is the ear, then this is the nose. And Amit is the voice of the avatar. So they will go down the tongue, which is the correct path. they find this insanely bloody pedestal that looks like it was used for human sacrifice, uh, which it was. Uh, it was used for human sacrifice because they see the zombie thing come up, or it looks. It honestly reminded me of the Mummy. This entire thing hasn't reminded me of anything else like Egyptian movie related, except this scene with like the animated like mummified servant.
Yeah.
But uh, him and Layla and him, Steven, go around, and he goes up top where it looks like there's like offerings and a burial. Well, she stays on the bottom. Well, the thing drags one of the people there, one of Haru's crew, as they faintly hear gunshots going off, and he gets put on the table and he gets sacrificed, seemingly. The zombie thing uses tools, like ceremonial tools, to like actually carve out its organs and to put them into jars. Which is, if you didn't know, some cool like Egyptian notes or information. That's actually what they did with all of the organs of a sealed person, like someone that was getting mummified. They would actually keep all of their essential organs in like vases that are also sealed in the tomb with them. Because the Egyptians believed all that you owned, including your body and like your wealth and stuff like that, and even food, would pass on to the afterlife with you. So like, I guess it was supposed to be some type of thing of like that was gonna be your home now. So like you needed food, like your organs were still intact. They needed to preserve your skin and bones, so that's why they had the mummification process. Pretty cool things. I remember a lot of this from like elementary school, but anyway, it hears Layla moving around. Steven distracts it, Layla distracts it, and then Steven distracts it again. But it chases after Layla, which was the scariest thing Disney Plus has sent out lately. That whole interaction with her and it actually jump scared me when it grabbed her and dragged her, because that was pretty long. That was like, she was getting dragged for like at least 10 seconds into a wall. And then from there, we see Mark's perspective, which he actually finds the tomb. Which, interesting history stuff, is actually the tomb of Alexander the Great, who was... when I think of Alexander the Great, I think of like a Christopher Columbus looking motherfucker, like a normal Caucasian man from Europe. But I think he was of Egyptian descent. I don't know a lot about Alexander the Great, but when I hear that name, I just think of
Cleopatra.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. When I think of Alexander the Great, I just think of like a normal white dude. So maybe it's that. I don't remember.
Maybe.
But anyway, he was Amit's avatar. He was the last avatar of Amit. Transition over to Layla. She's getting chased by Slender Man, the giant mummy dude. Not actually a mummy. He's like rotting flesh. She gets grabbed through a wall, and they have this action scene like where they both fall over the edge, but one of them's hanging over, like, and actually like lifts themselves up trope, which I haven't seen in a while, but I also haven't seen other action movies besides Marvel stuff in a while. So she beats it, and she also has a conversation with Haro. I feel like I'm the only one talking, so you can take over from here.
Yeah, she talks to Haro. Haro drops the bomb that Mark Spector.
That's not what I was gonna say.
Oh,
but go ahead.
What?
No, that's insensitive. Go ahead.
Okay.
Kaboom.
He drops the bomb that Mark Spector was there when when her father died. And Mark had not told her at that point. I think he also told her that Mark Spector was the one that killed
I
Layla's
don't.
father.
I think he insinuated
I
it,
think
but
he
he.
insinuated, which might lead into the, because like Mark was the only one found alive there, and from my understanding, uh, he might have died there because Khonshu like resurrected him or whatever, which put him into the
Yeah.
service. But like, if there is like a secret third personality that's like some kind of killer, then who knows? Maybe his body did kill Layla's father.
Yeah. From what he told Layla, he actually like he was in possession of his body at the time.
Mhm.
And he said that he saw his partner, who notoriously becomes Moon Knight's like main villain in the comics. He saw him kill Layla's father, which Layla blames him later on, which like for the fact that Mark brought a cold-blooded murderer to the camp to the dig site in the first place. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead. We'll get there.
Um, he drops that news to her. She runs off, sad and upset, as one would be. Meanwhile, Steven is defacing the mummified corpse of
Quite
Alexander the
literally.
Great, breaking his jaw open and reaching down inside to get Amit, or at least the statue that is holding her. Layla shows up. Mark takes over. Again. Mark lets her know that he didn't actually kill her dad, but he led the killer there. And they're unfortunately cornered by Harrow's men. And then we see the main character, Mark Spector, die.
Yeah. So after this, we see the last thing we see is Harrow's men gun down Mark Spector. Layla even sees it from around the corner because Mark just told her to run. I think he gave her the totem, right?
I think so too.
Yeah. So like he wouldn't just stand there and act and try and defend the totem while she went away. No. He dies. He falls into a pool of water, and then from that pool of water, he reawakens in a psychiatric ward, which is this is Moon Knight. This is prime Moon Knight. This type of storytelling, this type of psychological, like mind mess aroundery. This is from the run that this is based off of, and it's great. Like as a Moon Knight fan, when I saw this, I was just like, oh, this is what they're doing. This is great. It's it's kind of, to sum it all up, it's kind of portrayed as the fact that like Mark, for the 3 episodes that we've known him, is just a patient in a mental hospital, and he's kind of been associating everybody he's seen in the mental hospital as people in his life in this like dramatic story, because it's shown to us that Mark has this obsession with this like Indiana Jones ripoff movie that stars a character called Stephen Grant. And it's kind of showing us that like it shows us where these different aspects of Mark's life come from. Like Stephen Grant, the personality, comes from this movie that he likes to watch in the psych ward. His wife is the only girl that talks to him. The two people that are Harrow's like main men are people that work in the I don't want, it's not an asylum. It's an institution. Anybody, his manager is another person in the institution. Other people in the institution are people we've seen in the show. And we see him eventually talking to Haro, who is supposed to be his psychiatrist, and Mark is like putting things together in his mind because like he's supposedly been sedated because of his outbursts that he has.
Mhm.
And he starts putting everything together. He's just like the cane, the picture on the wall is a place that they went in a previous episode. What else?
The words that he was saying.
Yeah,
Those words
yeah,
that used to kill him.
yeah. He said the words of like I forget exactly, but he repeated the words that he said to Mark right before he was gunned down
I
by his
can't
men.
save people who can't save themselves.
Yeah, so exactly what a psychiatrist would tell you before gunning you down. So he starts putting everything together, starts thinking about it. He's just like, no. He's just like, this is all wrong. This is all wrong. This is like an elaborate scheme. He tries to break out of it while sedated. Gets caught by the guards. Bites one of their hands. Smacks the other one in the face. And then runs off. Meanwhile, Haru's just like, "Are you guys okay? I can't really do much right now. You know, I can't chase after him." And then he goes off. He runs into a room, and in the room is a sarcophagus. So, in case you were wondering if the entire last 3 episodes of Moon Knight were fake, no? Question mark. Probably not. But inside the sarcophagus, it's who do you think it is? Who do you think it is, Vincent? Who do you think
Inside
it
the
is?
sarcophagus?
Yeah,
I think
no, no,
it's-
no, no,
I
no, no,
think
no, no,
it's-
no, no. The first sarcophagus. Who do you think's in the first sarcophagus?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
A. The nameless pharaoh. B. Jotaro Kujo, or C. Stephen Grant.
I gotta go C, dog.
Wrong. It's actually the nameless pharaoh from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Darn.
Yeah, no. So Steven's there, and it's it's 2 Oscar Isaacs.
Bakura?
Yeah. Oh, Pakura. It could have
It's
been
two,
Pakura.
two Oscar Isaacs. Dude, that must have been such a weird scene for him to film. Right?
Wait. I just thought about something. Moon
What?
Knight's just Yu-Gi-Oh.
It really is.
Dual personalities.
Minus the card game.
I don't know. Did you know that
Yu-Gi-Oh.
quick tangent here? Did you know that there's a Marvel Uno?
Some Marvel Uno.
And it functions like Uno plus like an actual card game. Like there's character cards and ability cards.
Oh, what the fuck?
Go, look it up. There's even card rarities. Like there's pulls.
What?
Yes.
No.
No, you make a deck based off a character, and you can have pulls. There's rarities, Vincent. You buy a character deck, and you have to pull to get the right rarities.
Oh,
Anyway. So the two of them like meet, I guess, for the first time, like physically or mentally. We're not quite sure. But he hugs himself, or Mark hugs Steven. And from there, they're just like, we gotta escape. And they both kind of question how this is possible because like they share the same body usually. But they run out of there. They run past another sarcophagus, which is like trying to break itself free. Which I think now is a safe time to talk about it. We both think it's Jake. Everybody's been talking about this since the start of the show. If they're going to have the third personality, if it's going to be
Jake.
proper, it's Jake. It's Jake Lockley.
gotta be.
Jake in the comics is his street level personality that is a cab driver that gets street level information from Mark, kind of is rough and tumble. This would be the this is like the perfect transition to like comic to live action for a character because Jake being the mustached cab driver that beats people up for information is just perfect in this situation because I totally can see him as the person that just kills people. But I want to know if when he takes over, does he grow a mustache?
Maybe.
Does he grow a mustache and then he gets a hat? I want to know.
Hopefully.
But they run past it. I like Steven's curious on like who it could be or what it could be, and then Mark's just like, no, I don't need another person in my head. I'm good, and just runs away. And they get to the end of the hallway, and who do we see, Vincent?
To wear it. Oh my god. The Egyptian god, the Egyptian goddess of childbirth and fertility herself, the big hippo.
Yeah, they open the doors, and
She's a nurse.
and she's just like, you expect like something like a very deep voice, and she's like, hi, how you doing? And then they both just scream.
It's so nice.
They both just scream because the anthropomorphic hippo just said hi to them.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
And
why
it's
you would
funny.
be scared.
It's so funny because like Mark has like a normal or like he has like a scream that's like his octave, right? And then Steven has a high pitched scream like he is scared for his life. Like Mark is scared just like because he's surprised. Steven's scared because he thinks that the hippo's gonna eat him. And that's the end of the episode. Now, let's do a little bit of theory crafting. What do you think her importance to the show is going to be?
I think she's going to help heal his connections and his personalities that have been split up. Next episode's going to talk about fucking Jake. It's going to. We're going to meet him. They're probably going to fucking like let him out, which is going to be fucking crazy. I love that they brought in to wear it. I love the fact that she's a nurse. I'm not personally familiar with this Moon Knight run. But I've read Rick Riordan's Egyptian God Red Pyramid book series that he did alongside Percy Jackson. And in one of the books, they're in the underworld of the they're in the underworld, and they go to a hospital for retired gods and just old and forgotten mythical beings, and to where it is the head nurse there. Just looking after everybody. So I was immediately reminded of that, and it made me so happy. I was really hoping that was what it was going to be. She might also be healing their connection with Khonshu somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I was so what I think it is it might be because she's the goddess of fertility, she's also the goddess of birth, like childbirth. I think it's gonna be like an all-encompassing thing of his psyche healing, him accepting, because the run that this is based off of, forgive me, I forget the writer, it ends with them, like all three personalities, accepting that they don't need Khonshu to function. So I feel like in the same vein, there'll be a recovery process for Steven, Mark, and probably Jake, figuring out who each other are, accepting who each other are, and knowing that they have to live with each other and accepting that. Along with that, it's the birth of a new person per se. Like, it's not necessarily the three of them individually, but them as a system, because that's usually how DID is perceived, as not split personalities, it's a system. It's all the personalities working together. Which would be awesome to see if at the end of the last episode or in the next episode we see Mark and Steven and possibly Jake switching between each other during a fight scene, and we just see the costume transition in between, as if like they're transforming into different forms or something like that. But yeah, that's kind of what I think. I think next episode's gonna be a whole like info dump slash non-action esque non-action esque episode. Probably maybe some things action, but I feel like it's gonna be a lot of talking, a lot of information told to the viewers and the characters. Very, very Mark, Steven, Jake encompassing. If we see Layla, it's her running away or her getting captured and whatever's happening with Amit's tomb. I also don't think Haro is the avatar of Amit. I'm 100% believing that he's actually Anubis in disguise. Because we didn't talk about it, but the Ennead has like a ton of gods sealed away. So whether that's supposed to be something for the next Thor movie or not, the Egyptian pantheon seems to just have a bunch of gods. Whether or not they are from their pantheon or not, we don't know, but they're just sealed away. So, yeah. That's my 2 cents on it. Yeah, I have nothing really else to say. Super excited for tomorrow's episode. Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to see Tourette.
Yeah. I'm excited where they're going to take this whole thing, because this is 101 things that they could do, because like what she represents, what she could do, how they take the character from, if there's any rendition of her in the comics, to live action and taking from the source material of actual Egyptian mythos.
Yeah.
With that, I think we're gonna end it. We're eventually gonna have a thing at the end here where we talk about other things, possible things. We're both busy adults. Possibly like what we're excited for in the upcoming weeks, or maybe take some of the news and put it at the end here, or maybe like some personal things. One of my favorite podcasts, they talk about what their current interests are, what they're doing, what they're reading, what they're watching. But yeah, that's the end of today's episode. I hope you all love the banner and profile icon. Shout outs to Ultimate Maverick X, my commission guy. He is an amazing artist. If you want to get art done by him, this isn't sponsored or anything. It's just a shameless plug because I really like his art. And he did a really good job. I think me and Vincent both think that the banner and profile picture turned out really good.
Yeah. It looks great. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. So, shout outs to him. If you want to get in contact with us, you can tweet at us at domesticbfpod. You could tweet at me at lying_mask.
Oh, and you can sorry, I got lost in the banner for a second. It looks really nice. Yeah. And I'm Vincent B8. Vincent Barlow 8.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, get the algorithm going. I just recently started a new job last week, so if you thought that content was spotty at the moment, you can just imagine how everything's going. But I think I have a decent idea of how we're going to get things going. I'm going to be putting stuff on the TikTok, which I might have linked in the description in this episode. Using those same videos on the YouTube to do some algorithms in the shorts. We might also possibly be doing like standalone episodes, standalone videos besides the podcast episodes. Not really sure about how that will go. Like I said, we're both pretty busy people, but This isn't like a for profit or anything like that type of gain. We're just doing this for fun. So
Yeah.
we will see how everything progresses. But thank you all for watching. Tune in next time. We're going to be talking about the last 2 episodes of Moon Knight, and then whenever Vincent can go see it, we'll be talking about Multiverse of Madness and all of the crazy things
Hopefully
that are
soon.
gonna, yeah, and all the crazy things that will be coming out of that, because God knows that this movie is gonna be like the equivalent of like Civil War of Phase 4. Like, crazy things are gonna happen, crazy implications about the stuff that happened in the Disney Plus shows, and also anything to happen in the future, because the multiverse, and honestly, like, possible connections to the Sonyverse. Who knows? It depends. But as I said before, thank you for listening, and we will catch you later.
See you, beautiful people.